extended, I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. Ben White has signed a new deal at this football club, which is music to my ears. And I also need to know with Gareth Southgate, what specifically happened during the last World Cup for Benjamin White not to be in the England squad. There's three sides to every story, folks. There's what Benjamin's got to say, there's what Southgate's got to say, and then there's the God's honest truth, where I just don't think he's convinced on Benjamin White, really and truly. And I don't think it's got anything to do with his football. I don't know what it is. I'm not insinuating anything. I would love for Benjamin White to be in Southgate's plans, because he should be going to the Euros. When you look at best performing English players, a young Kobe Mainoo is in with a shout. He's not going to get called up, but he's one of those. Ollie Watkins is another. Ross Barkley is another. Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, Benjamin White, and there's a whole bunch of other guys. As a selfish Arsenal fan, though, I don't really care, because this is a player that plays week in, week out for our football club, and it means we can rest his legs. If I'm completely honest with you, I would love our players to be a bit cynical. I know it's bad mind, folks, but I'd love our players to be a bit cynical, all of a sudden. And I'm sure they're injured. I'm sure there's injuries, but I'm hearing Haaland's pulling out of Norway action. Kevin De Bruyne is pulling out of Belgium action. And by the time this video is probably done and I make a thumbnail and things like that, Bernardo Silva, this guy, that guy, and the third are all going to withdraw from international duty, people. But yeah, if I share my screen with you lot, I've kind of covered this already, but it's always nice to do videos when there's official confirmation. And even that, before I get into it, is it a coincidence that Arsenal come out with his new deal, or better yet, Ornstein overnight comes out with the new deal? Arsenal confirm it today. Then it comes out that Arsenal called Southgate last week and said Benjamin White's not available, which, to be fair to Gareth, maybe he was extended an olive branch and Benjamin has no willingness to kind of bless the beef in that regards. Maybe Benjamin White needs to rest his legs. As I said, I quite like that, because City players are dropping out and, Liverpool have a lot of injuries, but I'm sure they'll probably do the same. But for what it's worth, allegedly he signed a new deal until 2028 with the option of 2029, which he's 26. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he will get a new deal. But in terms of leaders of the new school, so not to belittle Jorginho, Thomas Partey, El Nene, Dom experienced players there, people that are going to be here for a significant part of things at Arsenal. Benjamin White's 26. He's clearly a leader in that regards. And, I don't think Benjamin White gets enough plaudits. Obviously, he's not a sexy footballer in that he's not gracious like Saliba. He's not per se a match winner like Saka, although he set up 2 assists against Brentford. But he's versatile. He's clearly intelligent, because he's improving all the time. And he's whatever Arteta demands of him, to play as a centre-back, to play as a right back that has to be a centre-back in and out of possession, whether he's got to invert, whether he's got to be a traditional fullback, he does all of that. His best trait for me is, while he's versatile, he's a warrior, he's consistent, he's got a high technical level. Durability, the man's fit. If I'm honest with you, we've done a good job from August till now. But when you look at our squad, people, for me anyways, there's a lot of players that you can't really bet your life are going to be fit for at least 30 of the 38 games. Everybody gets injured and things happen. But I would say Benjamin White is one. Obviously, Raya/Ramsdale, asterisk, because they're goalies. But Benjamin White, Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, Odegaard. I've probably missed out 1 or 2, Saliba and Gabriel. But other than that, Zinchenko picks up knocks, Tomiyasu picks up knocks. It's a bit unfair to group Timber into that, but he's got an ACL. Obviously, Partey is the poster boy like Tomiyasu of Arsenal injuries. Gabriel Jesus is a frequent one with injuries. Nelson, Jorginho, even to a degree. Trossard's durable, but you get the point. Fabio Vieira. A lot of our players miss a 1 week, a 2 week, a couple months, whatever, and this stuff all adds up. But yeah, big up Benjamin White. The very fact of, regardless of what Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville had to say, the man since joining in from Brighton in 2021, who we spent 50 million off 1 Premier League season. So big up Arteta on the talent ID of seeing, based on the players' pass at Leeds and on loan and all of those sort of things to go with Brighton, what he can bring to the table. The present, obviously, what attracted them at the time to Benjamin White, and the future, what he is now in hindsight after joining the club, and what he could be, so on and so forth, people. 3 seasons, 122 appearances in all comps. The man's amazing, really and truly. if I'm honest with you. Got a lot of time for Benjamin White, and I'm sure the manager and sporting director do as well, because Edu has said, we are so happy to have completed a new long-term contract with Ben. Since Ben joined us, his contribution and commitment have been such high quality. Our supporters love him, we love him, and we look forward to enjoying Ben's performances with us for years to come. And I also liked when Arsenal, I don't know if you've seen it, and I can't play it on YouTube, but in line with this new contract stuff, they released a kind of video where all his teammates were talking about Benjamin White. I think that was a nice touch. And just generally, I like the fact of, we'll be here all day. Saka, Saliba, Martinelli, Odegaard, a bit different, but Ramsdale, Tomiyasu apparently has signed a new deal. On one hand, I don't want to praise the club for doing things we should have been doing and being competent, but I like the fact that we're getting contracts done. We're doing the competent things. In previous years, whether it is Saka, Saliba, Ben White, Martinelli, whatever, Gabriel, even whatever have you, we have a player that's in a good run of form, their contract's running down, and we're ooming and ahhing what they're going to kind of do. Now, even City have been through that. That's going to happen. That is football. But at this club, it was way more frequent. Arteta said, it's great news that Ben is committing his future to the club. Ben is a key player for us, a top professional with a winning mentality, and one of the guys who leads by example every day. Ben's ability, determination, and positive attitude are so important, but he's also a great character and human being. We all look forward to continue working with Ben in the coming years. Big him up. I do remember when Tierney signed a new deal, you said he was a captain, Arteta. So, you've got many tricks and trades up your sleeve, the mad scientist, but that's why you're the gaffer. Obviously, I'm not going to read this all out, people, but Benjamin White obviously is happy to commit his future to the football club. What I do want to say, though, is Gareth Southgate says he has no issue with Ben White after the Arsenal defender made himself unavailable for selection for this month's upcoming friendlies. Maybe that's because he doesn't see eye to eye with Gareth Southgate. Maybe he's not fit. Maybe he wants to focus on the club. Maybe he just wants to jet off with his girlfriend. Who knows? I spoke to him post-Qatar, and there was resentment from his side. I don't know why that is. I don't know what that word actually means, but it must be some harbored feelings. Apparently, White left England's World Cup squad in Qatar for personal reasons, with reports saying he was unhappy and had fallen out with assistant coach Steve Holland. Now, there's been a lot of rumors around Benjamin White, which are quite frankly disgusting. There's been homophobia. There's been bust-ups with the manager. And I hope it's not this. There was rumors he lost a loved one. I hope it's not that, because I don't want anyone to lose a loved one. But there's a lot of rumors, and we've never been told. Unless Southgate says exactly what happened or what Benjamin's got to say, we'll never know, I guess. I'm sure his Arsenal and England teammates know. I'm sure England teammates know. I'm sure the whole footballing world know. But for us, we don't know. There is no issue between us at all. And there's also no issue with Steve, which has been mentioned in articles, and I don't like that. I have to accept things are false about me, but I'm not prepared for that to happen to my coaching staff. That's not the reason Ben is not with us, people. He then said he, in brackets, White, would be in this squad, but he's not available to us, and I have to focus on who can help us. Clearly on form, I can't sit here and say he doesn't deserve to be in, which is a great testament for me. It's a great shame. He's a player we took to the Euros, a player we took to the World Cup, and I spoke to him post-Qatar because I wanted to pick him. People have given me a lot of stick for not picking players in the past who haven't made themselves available, but I've always been able to keep them out of that story. On this occasion, because of the circumstances around the number of injuries and his decision to come off the long list, I've got to be more transparent. Then he said, people, when asked if he could still play, said, I don't know the answer to that. I hope that's not the reasons. So yeah, Odegaard has said Ben White is one of the people who cares the most. When you look at him from the outside, you might think he's someone who doesn't care too much, but he's one of the guys who cares the most about his team, his teammates. He's a warrior, a proper team player, and he's funny. I mean, you could tell Benjamin White's got that dry humor. And why I'm upset really and truly is because, you can't be naive. Gareth Southgate he already knows the players he's taking to play in the Euros, right? This is the last international break in March. The Euro starts in May, June, whatever. He knows the core nucleus. It's an experimental squad, in part to reward people for their form and playing for their country, probably he's convinced and not convinced on a couple of others, and to assess who could be a wild card. And naturally, as England manager, you're not Mikel Arteta or Eric Ten Hag or any of these guys in that you're not working with these players week in, week out. The vast majority of your job is going up and down the country, or in some cases, some other countries, seeing players that are available, whatever they've got. Do they tie into what you want to do? But when it's international duty, this is the first time you get to see them up close and personal and train on a regular basis, people. And it is an experimental squad. You look at it, Ramsdale, you can't buy a game for Arsenal when he does. And, it's been a bit shaky, but he's in the squad along with Sam Johnson and Pickford. Braithwaite of Everton deserves it. Lewis Dunk deserves it. Joe Gomez is there as well, which he ain't been there in a while. Konza is there, along with, people that are there on a regular basis in Stones, Maguire and Walker. In midfield, you've still somehow got Jordan Henderson. Declan Rice deserves it. Maddison deserves it. Bellingham deserves it. Gallagher's a decent player as well. Up front, or players counted as forwards, you've got Bowen, Foden, who can play in midfield, Gordon, Harry Kane, Cole Palmer, Rashford, Saka, Ivan Toney, and Ollie Watkins. So there's a lot of wild cards. If you had to pick players off this list that you could say are going to the Euros, you never know, but I would say Ramsdale's going to be on the bench in the Euros. I would say Chilwell's going. I would say Maguire, Stones, Walker are going. I'd say Bellingham's going. I'd say Declan Rice is going. I hope Maddison's going. I would say Maddison for me is 98%, but you never know with Southgate. He might elect to bring another defender, or if Calvin Phillips gets fit, he might bring him back in. I would say Bowen. I don't know. It's almost a wild card. I think Foden's going. I think Gordon, it's a wild card. I think Kane's a shoo-in. I think Cole Palmer is a wild card. I think Rashford probably is going to go, but you never know. I think Saka is going. And the Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins thing, I think there's scope to bring both of them, but really and truly it's Harry Kane, and then it's probably one of Ivan Toney and Watkins, because Rashford can also play up front. Obviously, Raheem Sterling's form has been terrible. He probably isn't going. But if he was to get form, Southgate knows him and knows what he's about. That's another one like Rashford, who he always says counts as a striker. So it could be that. And you could argue Harry Kane, Ivan Toney, and Ollie Watkins all need to go. Big up Braithwaite as well. I'd love it, Arsenal to sign my man from Everton, but I can't see that happening. But yeah, that's just a quick video. I know I've spoken about Benjamin White already, but I just felt with official confirmation online, I just really wanted to speak about Southgate and speak about Benjamin White with you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Peace.
There's always just that accurate defending.